so let's get right to it. I'm installing an electric fan today on the Mustang, and the reason why I'm doing that is because the stock fan just isn't cutting it. So as you guys do know, as you increase the horsepower, you increase the heat output. So as we added heads and bigger cam, and basically just increase the cylinder pressure in itself and increase the horsepower coming out from each cylinder, that in itself is creating more heat. So more heat requires a better cooling system. Now this car really doesn't have a cooling system issue. In fact, it's really good. But man, here in Texas, it's starting to get to 100 degrees. And if I sit this thing out in traffic for 20-30 minutes, it does start creeping up. It'll get about 3/4 of the way up. So even though we got a 3-core aluminum radiator and I've got a high flow water pump, I mean, typically if the car's moving, man, it stays nice and cold. But as soon as we stop and you're sitting perfectly still, the fan just isn't spinning fast enough because it's not producing enough RPM from the crank to spin the fan fast enough. So therefore it's not drawing enough air to that radiator, and then it starts just to creep up a little bit. Now it does get up to about 3/4 and it stops, so it's not overheating, and it's not getting to the point where it's boiling over. It's never done that. So the car, it doesn't have a cooling system issue. It's just not adequate, especially for the weather that I'm living in here and the climate that we have here. So what I am wanting to do today is try to resolve that, because I want this car to be 100% reliable and be able to take it anywhere, and especially when I get that turbo put on that I keep promising everybody. It's coming, I promise. But whenever I put that turbo on, it's just going to even more so increase the heat. So I think I've got myself a pretty good fan, and yeah, let's just get right to it. Check it out. Okay guys, so what I have gone with is the Blackmagic Xtreme Mustang fan. This is the Flex-a-lite 185 16-inch fan specifically for foxbody Mustangs. This fan, I believe, runs 300 and something, and for me, I was able to use some stomach bucks and a whole bunch of parts I needed to return to cut more than half of it off, so that is pretty cool. Bracket. Installation instructions here. Okay, and the fan itself. We got some wiring. Looks like a whole wiring kit. And along with a controller, so this is pretty cool. Okay. And some more brackets. Okay, so there you have it. This is a install video on a Mustang Flex-a-lite Xtreme Blackmagic. Okay guys, so you can see that this kit comes with everything you're going to need. It comes with the controller. This is how everything is wired up, and it's actually got an adjustable thermostat in here, so you can set the temperature that this thing comes on. It also has a wire specifically to tap into your AC relay, so when the AC kicks on, this thing will go full speed, which is exactly what we want. Another reason why it's a good decision to go with this is it comes with a bracket. It comes with a bracket that mounts to the side of the radiator for the stock overflow tank. So for me, that is cool. This will be able to go here or on the other side, I guess, and then this will allow us to actually mount the overflow tank, the stock one. So it comes with a few brackets, and yeah, so this is it. Blackmagic Xtreme 185 Mustang 5.0. So this fan moves a whopping 3,300 CFM, and what I like about it is notice that it's solid construction. So this thing is a nice, perfect rectangle shape with a seal on it. So this thing has a good rubber seal that's going to smash right up against your radiator, and you know, make sure that you don't have any leaks, and assures that all the air that it is sucking and pushing through here is being pulled through the radiator. So this is exactly what I wanted. It's going to look right at home, and it should look hopefully pretty nice. When you open the hood on one of these Foxes, or any Fox in stock, you'll notice that even though we've got some custom parts and we've cleaned up the engine bay quite a bit, that everything looks like it belongs and it looks like it's supposed to be there. The radiator itself is built for the car, so I get to keep my stock mounts. And then of course I've got the manual fan along with the overflow tank that is also stock. And to me, when you open the hood, it just looks proper. So I didn't want to get too far away from this, and I really even thought about using a Taurus fan behind the fan shroud and then making it work. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, I'm just cobbling it together. So in goes the Flex-a-lite. Okay guys, removal of this thing is super straightforward and simple. So get yourself a 7/16 wrench. These are ones I like to use for the fan. First thing we're going to do is remove the 4 bolts on the water pump pulley and remove the top 2, and then slide the whole thing out as one piece. Okay, with everything removed, I can kind of put this in place to let you guys see what it's going to look like, make sure everything's going to fit okay. Okay, that looks good. Still got quite a bit of room between the water pump pulley and the fan. So let's go ahead and secure that water pump pulley back on. To do that, we're just going to take our bolts that we took out, put them back in. This time without the clutch. Fan clutch. Okay, next step is mounting the overflow tank reservoir bracket. So this is going to go on the driver's side, and depends on what side you decide to keep your wires on. I'm going to try to get the wires going to the bottom, mainly so you don't see this break in this seal right here, and also because it helps get the wires out of the way. I don't want any wires on top. Really don't want to make any of this thing invisible at all. So we're going to simply put this on, and what I'm going to do is put it on loosely, make sure it's where I want it, and then go back, take it off, peel off this coating. Okay, I just test fit this thing, and man, the overflow tank is awfully close to the power steering pump. We'll see how everything ties up once it's pushed up against the radiator, but it is about that close to hitting the power steering pump pulley. So we're going to roll with it. And let's go ahead and peel off this protective coating. And I must point out that I really do like how the Flex-a-lite fan has these mounting points that are riveted in those bosses. So it's kind of a nice touch versus having to use you know, like nuts and bolts on both sides. Okay, the next piece is going to be the mounting bracket that goes to the shroud itself for the top. So this is going to mount here, and this piece right here will mount actually to the back of the radiator and sandwich between and have your adjustability here. So these 2 plates will bolt together there through there. So that's cool. Okay, because as you can kind of see, this top bracket is what actually hangs it. Once you put the bottom ones in place, it'll push it back up, so this will be flush, and you can tighten this thing down how you want. So again, this is just loosely hanging. I want to make sure there's enough room for the bottle, or for the overflow tank. We'll get that installed, and let's see if I can't crawl under here. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to lift it up. Not much room down here. Okay, so that's kind of where the overflow tank goes, but let's look at this, guys. I'll tell you why I think this is a interesting idea. I want you to see how close this is to the power steering pump. So it is awfully close, and it's a little too close for comfort. Now on top of that, you can see down there at the bottom, the overflow hose is basically right up against and touching now the lower radiator hose into the water pumps. Let's be honest, that overflow tank, not so pretty. I might have to think of another option. Okay, it is the day after. Actually, it's the day after, because I spent all night last night. Not all night, I spent a good hour out here last night, really just looking for a good spot to put this control box. This thing is quite large. and there's no good spot for me to put it. You can put it anywhere you want. I mean, you can put it, you know, right here, put it right here on the firewall. There's lots of spots on the firewall, but I took all this time to clean my firewall, so I didn't have to put a big box on the side. This thing's just big and bulky. I don't really want to see it. So, let me show you what I'm going to do. You may be wondering why I'm holding some cardboard here and cutting it. You probably know where I'm heading with this, but I'm building a panel to go. I'm going to build a panel out of steel, and this is where we're going to put it. So again, out of all the different places, there's just not a really good spot for it. I mean, it has to be close to the inlet on the radiator here. You know, so you can put the probe here, and I don't really want to see the wire. And I'm also thinking about the turbo in the future. You can put it kind of in this area. I know the turbo piping is going to go here, and they're going to have a lot of piping, you know, in this area. So that being said, I think what I'm going to do is make this piece removable, so I can relocate it later, or move it or whatever. So what we're going to do is actually use this hole here and fill it. So I'm going to build a panel that covers that area here. We'll put some tabs there so it'll kind of screw in. It'll screw in on all four, and the box will be mounted actually on the back side of it. It'll be hidden completely, and you'll be able to access the box by removing the panel, or I may even get fancy and see if I can't mount the box in reverse and actually put a hole in it and have the knob stick out. So really all you see is the knob. So I know it's crazy. That's kind of where I'm going right now. I seriously spent about an hour on it last night trying to find a good spot for it. So we're going to make a panel for it. Okay, I may have gone a little bit overboard, a little bit crazy. What have I done? This is nuts. I've actually decided to take the components out, which were like this, and rotate it. So now the switch will be on the outside. That'll let me put this into the box. Like that. And I've notched the side of it here so that I can put the temperature sensor now through the side here, and this fits nice and snug back in the box like so, except now it's put this on the outside. So we'll be able to drill a hole and then put the knob on the outside of the steel panel. It'll be black, it'll be hidden. The knob will be there. This will allow me to adjust the temperature without having to remove the panel. Okay, box is on, wires are back in location. Okay, and that's how she's going to go on. Now we'll go ahead and feed this wire and start wiring it up. Okay, so the panel's in. I went ahead and ran the probe. This probe is going to be for the temperature sensor. It's going to go right next to the inlet So I'm going to move the, whoa, my camera's freaking out again. Sorry guys. I need to take these brackets off and go ahead and move the radiator forward a little bit so I can stick the probe in, put that on the inside, and this cap on the outside, so it won't be that noticeable. But this looks pretty good. This is going to be where it'll sit, and I've just got the top two nuts on, but this will allow me to adjust it, and all the way this way is going to be lowest temperature, middle to high, or middle's normal, and then all the way that way is high. So it's just like it is on the other side of the box. So I think it hides it pretty good. Now that it's fresh black paint, I'm going to let it dry a little bit and kind of start working on the wiring tonight. Update you guys tomorrow. Okay, welcome back to the next night. We're going to wire this thing. It is pretty easy, guys. There's nothing to it. The diagram tells it all. This is the back of the connector or the bottom of the control unit here. So we're going to have a thick black wire, which is here. And by the way, this comes with some really quality nice wire. You can see that it comes with a decent length of it here. I've already kind of unrolled it. But basically you've got really a thicker black and red and a little bit smaller red and green. So the thicker black and red is what's going to actually go from the main battery plus to the control unit, and also the thick red will go to the fan itself, and the thicker black one will go from the ground here, from the battery to the ground, and then to the negative side of the fan. So that is pretty much just wires the fan up. You've got positive and negative to the control unit and positive negative to the fan. That's going to be the thick wires. And you've got the smaller ones are going to be for the key on. So this is going to be your accessory and or key on, or wire it to a positive all the time if you want the thermostatically controlled. And the green wire is going to be for the AC. So we're going to tap this one into the AC unit so that the fan kicks on every time the AC kicks up. So where you guys wire this is up to you. Almost forgot. Don't forget to run the fuse. This thing did come with a really nice fuse unit. If you pop this cap off, there's actually a, I can't do it with one hand, can I? Hold on. There you go. So the unit comes with a 40 amp fuse. We're going to wire this in between the main positive here and there. So it's Thursday and I got about half the wiring done. So I spent a little bit out here last night just hooking up the positive cable. I got the positive cable hooked up to the back of the starter because it has a very, very thick wire, of course, that goes up to the starter solenoid. So I've got that ran. This is the fuse link to it right there. It'll go into the hole, so it's plugged in. The ground is right there, and I've got it going to a ground on the chassis right next to the body here. This is for the AC, so I've got this ran right now back through the fender well and through the hole where the brake line is, and then I'm going to run it behind the wires and tap it into here, which I've got kind of open. That's going to be the this goes up to my AC. You can see it wiggle there. So this is going to tap into one of those wires, whichever the positive one is, and that'll kick the fan on high when the AC is on. But man, what a mess! I got the fan out, I drilled a hole here, and I've gotten the fan wires poked out. I've got these soldered on. I've got electrical tape around it just to hold them together, but these are soldered and heat shrunk. And then I've got the cables here, the plug's ready to go. So the fan's ready to go in, ready to plug in. The only other cable it's going to need is a key on cable, which I'm going to probably loop to the power here, so it'll be on at all times. I'll see how that works. If that doesn't work, I'll run a separate dedicated key on wire, accessory wire. So that only comes on when the car's on. So you turn the car off, the fan turns off, doesn't drain the battery. But I suspect the fan's going to pull a lot of air, and it's going to cool off pretty quick and shut off, so it won't be running that much afterwards anyways. So yeah, let's get back to it. I'm going to put the fan in now permanently. And once this is all good, my box here will tie back up and hide in the hole, and yeah, be hidden away. So the probe's in, so it's right there. Okay, the fan is loosely in right now. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how it attaches on the bottom. Right now it's just hanging on the top of the radiator. Okay, real quick, on the other side here, I want to show you guys how these clips go on. And you do have to remove your factory clips that clip in right here, and on the other side, that's where your factory fan shroud clips into. If you don't remove that, you don't get a tight seal on the bottom here. So these clips just kind of loosely on. The idea here is to run them underneath the lip. I'm gonna have to put the camera down because I can't do this with one hand, but they'll go underneath here, and you want to push the radiator as tight as you can up against. They say to squish the rubber about halfway, so you want to push this in until it's about halfway squished, and it's not completely pressed up against the fence, but basically once this rubber is compressed about halfway, that's when you know you're up against the radiator tight enough. Okay, the controller is wired up. I had to extend the ground wire. It's a little too short, I didn't have any room in it. But you can see I actually have one of the wires flipped. Your main power cable goes here, which is B. That means battery, I guess, because we got the main battery terminal going down to that right there. And I've got that looped to the key on, which is here, which means this is going to constantly be running. You've got your fan output, M plus, M minus, plus at top, minus on the bottom. And we've got the ground here going to G. And we have the AC going to C here, which I have not tied in yet. So I want to make sure the fan works first before tying it in. So let's put the panel back on and clean up, get the car back on the ground and see if it works. Okay, everything is wired up, so it is time to test it. I think I can click the fan on. I'm just going to go ahead and turn the key on, make sure nothing pops and smokes. And I want to go ahead and take the AC wire and put power to it. This AC wire, once it has got power put to it, the fan should spin up. So, fingers crossed. Okay, here goes. Cool, man, it clicked on. It's quiet. I'm surprised how quiet. This thing sucks a lot of air. Let's check this out again. Okay, now what we're going to do is just go ahead and turn the car on, find out which hot wire is the AC, and let it warm up. And we'll let it warm up and the fan should kick on. So what I'm going to do is use one of these cool things. This is what is this? What are these called? I don't know, it's a laser thermometer. We're going to keep this on the thermostat so I know exactly about what level, what temperature the coolant is coming out of the motor. So once I know that, I'll turn it on. We want it to come on around probably 185, I would guess. And then that's when the thermostat opens. So the thermostat opens around 185. Go ahead and kick the fan on, let it cool off. That way it's not on all the time, or it's not too hot when it kicks on. So. Just kicked on. I'm going to turn it up until the fan stops so we can adjust the temperature. Right now it's on the lowest temperature, so we're going to raise it up until it stops. Now I've got to turn all the way up to hot. What we're going to do now is wait till the thermostat gets to the temperature I want to see it at before the fan kicks on. Cool. So it works. The fan ran for about less than a minute and then it shut itself off. Yeah, it's working good. The temperature stayed nice and cool. It's kicking on and it's cycling just like we want it to. So it kicks on. If the engine gets cool enough, it'll kick off and then kick back on. And I determined which wire is the 12-volt wire for the AC, so I can plug that in now. Success. I love this shifter. Alright guys, hey man, welcome back. Hey listen, it has been a few days. Car test drive's great, it's staying nice and cool, it's doing exactly what we expected. I really need to take this thing out to out to work. I'll probably drive it to work tomorrow and then really put it through its courses, man. Nice, hot, humid, let it sit in traffic and keep it stays cool. That's the idea. It's 90 degrees outside, I'm sitting down and it stays cool, but man, otherwise, it's nice to take it out. The AC blows nice and cool now. It does feel a little bit cooler. So I say it's a success, sort of. I do want to show you guys the placement of the overflow tank. So check this out. So the overflow tank is in the spot where they tell it to. It comes with two bolts from the top and one on the bottom. I can't put the bottom bolt in because it hits the lower radiator hose. And granted, that is a stock radiator hose. It's not like it's a chosen from some other vehicle. It does not fit at all. So if I had to have one negative about this Flex-a-lite fan, it's that the relocation bracket for the stock overflow tank is not in a good spot. Does not work. So anyways, as you can see here, I have proceeded to rub a hole in my overflow tank, doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. It's slightly rubbed against my power steering pulley and I've got a hole in it. So I've got it taped now and it's kind of dug a line in it and leak coolant out. So really, before I drive this thing anymore, I need to fix the overflow tank. I really like this shifter, man. It's stiff. Guys, that's it. That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe. More things are coming. And make sure to follow me on Instagram to see the updates of what I'm doing on the car before it comes down on video. And thanks for watching, man. We'll see you next time.